Hi guys, this is Sadik from Dublin.com, and in this video, we'll show you how to flash the latest Pixel Experience ROM onto Galaxy S20 FE. So the ROM is supported across the SMG780G and the SMG781B. You could verify the same from the About Phone section. The ROM is currently not supported on the Exynos build, so keep this point in mind. With that said, also take a backup of all the data on your phone, and then let's get started. So first and foremost, you will have to get hold of the ROM file for your phone. So get it from this link, and once you have got the ROM file, you will now have to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do note that unlocking the bootloader will wipe off all the data, and it will also trip the Knox. And as opposed to all the other phone, in case of Samsung, even if you go back to the stock ecosystem, all the Knox related function will not work, because Knox is a hardware component. It's an eFuse in the motherboard, and its value will change from 0 cross 0 to 0 cross 1, and many of the Samsung Secure Pay and all such features will no longer work even if you relock the bootloader and remove the root. So it's just a one-way traffic, and whatever risk is involved, the risk will stay there even on a locked bootloader. So if that's well and good, you could refer to my guide and unlock the bootloader on your phone. In short, you just have to boot your phone to download mode and then long press the volume up key. After that, the bootloader will be unlocked and your phone will then boot to the OS. You could also check out my video on the same. I have made a video as well. And once you have unlocked the bootloader, you will now have to install the DWRP recovery onto your phone. Again, I have made a separate guide and a video, but still I'll show you once again how to get this job done. For the Galaxy S20 FE, we'll be using the FBE disabler method and not the multi-disabler. So for that, first and foremost, you will have to unlock the bootloader, which we have done already. Then you will have to get hold of the recovery file from here. Apart from the recovery, also download the vbmeta.tar file. So make sure you have both the file. This is the recovery and this is the vbmeta file. We will require the vbmeta to disable the AVB Android verified boot. So get hold of both the file. Once that is done, you will now have to download Odin. This is required to flash the WRP and the vbmeta file. So get hold of the file from here, Odin file, and extract them onto your PC. This is the Odin tool. Once that is done, you will now have to boot your phone to download mode. There exists quite a few methods, including the hardware key combination, but as of now, we will use the ADB command because it is universally accepted across all the Android phones, all the Samsung phones to be more precise. So for enabling or booting your phone to download mode, you will first and foremost have to enable USB debugging. For that, go to the settings menu, about phone, software information, and tap on build number 7 times. You will get a prompt that developer mode has been enabled. Once that is done, go to settings, then go to developer option and enable the toggle next to USB debugging and OEM unlocking. If the OEM unlocking is missing, so just give me a minute. I'll have to connect my phone to online and it will then be available in a matter of few seconds. So apart from the US variants of the phone, US and Canada variants of the phone, in all the other Samsung phone, the OEM unlocking toggle should be there. You just have to be online, and even if that does not work, then do a factory reset, and after that go online and the OEM unlock toggle should then appear. So let me show you that, and it should not be there. So even if it's not there now, then you have to wait for a few more seconds. Let's close this and wait for a couple of more seconds. And now let me check it. Developer options, and you could do one more thing. You could turn off the developer option and then re-enable it, giving it a few more seconds. So let's go to the settings menu, then go to about phone, software information, and again tap on build number 7 times. Then go back, again go back. Now come back to developer option, and we should now see the OEM unlocking option. As you could see, since my bootloader is currently unlocked, the toggle is already enabled on my phone. Likewise, also enable the USB debugging toggle. You will get a prompt, tap on OK. If this is the first time you are enabling debugging, you will get an RC key prompt as well. So in that case, tap on allow, and with this, the debugging is now enabled. Let's verify the same. So go to platform to folder address bar. For that, first and foremost, get hold of the platform tools from my guide and extract them onto your PC. You could extract them anywhere you want. I have done the extraction in C drive, and these are the files of platform tools. Now type in CMD in the address bar and hit enter. This will launch command prompt inside platform tools. Now type in ADB devices and make sure that we're getting an ID. If you're not getting any ID, then unplug and replug your phone from the PC, disable and re-enable USB debugging, tap on revoke USB debugging, use the official USB cable that came with your phone, and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out these USB tweaks and make sure that you're getting an ID. Once you're getting an ID, now type in ADB reboot download, and your phone will now reboot into download mode. It will take around 6 to 7 seconds for that to happen. So let's just wait and then we will move ahead with the next step. So now that our phone is in the download mode, we could now flash the recovery file onto our phone. So first and foremost, launch the Odin tool. You will get a warning, click on OK, and now make sure that your phone is being shown here under the COM port section. Likewise, the phone should also be shown added in the log if that's well and good. So click on the AP button and load the TWRP file in the AP slot. So this is the file. Likewise, click on the user data button and load the VBMeta patch file over here. Click on open. Again, I am repeating, the AP slot should have the TWRP and the user data slot should have the VBMeta patch file. Once you have loaded both the slot, go to option and uncheck auto reboot. Now hit the start button and the flashing will start. It will take only around 10 to 15 seconds for that to happen, and the flashing is now complete. So now comes the most interesting and the challenging part. So now you will have to boot your phone to the recovery mode, and this might prove to be a little bit challenging. So first and foremost, you will have to press and hold the volume down and the power key for around 7 seconds, and your phone will try to undergo a restart. While it is undergoing a restart, it will first power off, and as soon as it powers off, you will then have to press and hold the power and the volume up key. So again, I am repeating, first and foremost, press the volume down and the power key for around 7 seconds, and the phone will try to undergo a restart. While it's undergoing a restart, you will have to press and hold the power and the volume up key for a few seconds, and then your phone will then boot to the recovery. So let me show you that. So once that is done, let's now get this job done as well. So I have made a guide on the same as well. So let me show you. First and foremost, press the power and the volume down keys until and unless your phone boots to the, or rather the phone powers off. As soon as its phone powers off, let go of the key and now press and hold the volume up and power keys, and for around 5 seconds, and now let go of the keys, and your phone will now reboot to the TWRP recovery. So let's just wait for that to happen. You may also have taken one more route. For that, you may have checkmarked the auto reboot, and as soon as the flashing was complete, you should then have pressed the power and the volume up key straight away. But that is way more difficult. In this method, we at least have some manual control, and that is why I always recommend this method. So just to repeat, once the flashing is done, press and hold the power and volume down keys for a few seconds. As soon as the phone powers off, press and hold the power and the volume up keys for a few seconds, and then let go of the key, and your phone will now reboot to the recovery mode, as you could see in my case. So since we are using the FBE disabler method, we will not use the multi disabler. So for that, go to wipe, advanced wipe, checkmark key data, key refugee, metadata and data partition, and do a right swipe to wipe it. The 4 partition have been now wiped. Once that is done, let's now go to reboot and choose recovery. So as you might be aware, when it comes to the TWRP recovery on the Galaxy S20 FE, the recovery will not be able to decrypt the data until and unless you are on a custom firmware. Till the time you are on the stock firmware, the data will not be decrypted. It will remain in an encrypted format, and the recovery will not be able to read any data whatsoever. Let me show you that as well. While you may do a format data to decrypt the data, but upon a next reboot, the encryption will once again appear. So there is no benefit as such to rectify this issue. Instead, we will bypass the encryption issue and flash the ROM. So as of now, if I go to install, you could see the data is currently encrypted. So there is no need, you will not be able to decrypt it apart from doing a format data, in which case upon a next reboot, the data will once again get encrypted. So let's simply bypass this issue. So for that, as you might be aware, as of now, the internal storage or the SD card is currently encrypted, but all the other partitions are not encrypted. So we may transfer the ROM to any other partition and then flash it from that partition. For instance, we may transfer the ROM to the data partition, and from here we may flash the ROM. We may use the ADB push command to transfer the ROM zip file to the data partition and then you can flash the ROM, or the second approach is to directly flash the ROM via the ADB sideload method. Both the method will work. I'll show you both this method. The first method I will show you via the ADB push command, and then we will transfer the file in the data partition and then flash it manually. Whereas in the second method, I will show you how to flash the zip file using ADB sideload. So in the first method, I will flash the ROM file, and then using the second method, I will flash the GApps file. So with that in mind, let's first flash the ROM file. So for the flashing the ROM file, I will take the help of the normal ADB push command and transfer the ROM file inside the data partition and then flash it. Then for flashing the GApps, I will show you the ADB sideload method. You may use any of these two methods. Both will work across both the file. You may flash the ROM file using the ADB sideload as well, or you may flash the GApp using the ADB push as well. For the sake of convenience, I am showing one method for each file. That's just about it. So first and foremost, you will have to transfer the file inside the platform tool folder on your PC. So this is the ROM file. Just a minute. So this is the ROM file. Transfer the ROM file to the platform tool folder. And apart from that, if you want to flash GApps, download the GApp file from here from my guide and transfer it onto your PC as well. So regarding the GApps, there exist quite a few variants. So for example, the core GApps, basic GApps, Omni GApps, stock GApps, and the full GApps. The full GApps comes with all the Google app packages, whereas the core GApps comes with just the required Google apps. As of now, I'm using the core GApps. Moreover, please don't use the Go GApp because that was made for Android Go and it is no longer in existence. So you may use the core GApps or any one of the followings. Moreover, there exists quite a few build of the GApps like Light GApps, Nick GApps, Mind the Gaps, and Bit GApps. As of now, I'm using the Nick GApp package of the core variant. So it should be somewhat here itself. This is the Nick GApps. So also transfer this file inside the platform tool folder. For the ease of convenience, let's rename the file to something shorter. So for the ROM file, let's rename it to ROM and the complete name becomes rom.zip. Likewise, in case of GApps, let's rename it to GApps and the complete name becomes gapps.zip. And now I'll show you how to flash the file. For the ROM file, I'll show you the ADB push method, and for the GApps, I'll show you the ADB sideload method. So first and foremost, let's use the ADB push method. So open CMD inside platform tools. Now type in ADB push space file name, which is rom.zip space /. Usually we type in the SD card, but currently the SD card is encrypted. So let's use the data partition and hit enter, and the ROM file will now be transferred inside the data partition on your phone. Apart from that, you may also use any of the other partition as well, but I usually go with either the data partition or you may also use the temp partition. This is the temp partition. You may use any of these partition. As of now, I've used the data partition, and the ROM could take up to a couple of minutes for it to be transferred. So let's just wait. You might not be able to use the MTP method of doing a transfer because the data is currently encrypted. Let me show you. In some cases, you might not be able to access the storage. If you are able to access the storage, well and good. As you could see, it's all currently encrypted, so it's of no use. That is the reason why we had to use the ADB push method. So it will take a few more seconds for the file to be transferred. Let's just wait. So guys, the ROM has been transferred. Let me show you. Let's go to install and go to the data partition, and this is the ROM zip file. So now you may simply choose it and flash it. The second way of flashing a zip file is via the ADB sideload. So in ADB sideload, the file will be directly flashed. You will not have to transfer the ROM file first and then flash it. Instead, it will be flashed directly. So first, let me flash the ROM file. So go to install, choose the ROM zip file and do a right swipe to flash it. The flashing will now start and it could take up to a few minutes. So let's just wait for the flashing to complete. So guys, the ROM has now been flashed. So I showed you the method of flashing a zip file using ADB push, and now let me show you how to get that job done using the ADB sideload. So again, I am repeating, in case of ADB sideload, the file will be automatically flashed. So make sure you are transferring the right file. So go to the advanced section, then go to ADB sideload, checkmark wipe dalvik cache, wipe cache, and swipe to start sideload. Your phone is now in the ADB sideload mode. Let's verify the same. So type in ADB devices and hit enter. And as you could see, we are getting the sideload keyword. Now what you have to do is make sure that the file is there inside the platform tool folder. If that's well and good, type in ADB sideload file name, which is gapps.zip, and hit enter, and the side loading of the file will now start. As you could see, it will take just a few seconds. So the side loading process is much faster and much easier as compared to ADB push, because in ADB push you will first have to transfer the file and after that flash it. But in case of ADB side load, you could directly flash the file without doing an ADB push or without any transfer of the ROM file. But that is not the case with ADB side load. In side loading, as you could see, the flashing is done directly without any transferring of the file. And as you could see, the flashing of GApps is now complete. Once that is done, your last course of action is to do a format data. This will wipe off all the data from your phone. So go to wipe format data, type in yes, and hit the blue check mark. This will wipe off all the data from your phone. Once that is done, you will now reboot to the newly flashed OS. So just tap on reboot system and your phone will now reboot to the OS. So let's just wait for that to happen. Do keep in mind that the first boot up will take up some additional time frame. This is completely normal and nothing to worry about. From the subsequent time, that will not be the case. Moreover, let's just wait for a boot animation to appear, which will signify that the flashing has been done successfully. So it could take a few more seconds for the boot animation to appear. It's just for the one-time delay. From the subsequent time, this AOSP ROM will not take that much longer. As you could see, it's the Google animation. So the ROM flashing is done successfully, and we could now proceed ahead and check out the ROM. So guys, we are now inside the OS. So let me get started. As of now, I'll skip the initial setup process and take you to the OS directly. It will take just a few seconds for that to happen, and let me skip this as well, and we should now be in the OS in a matter of few seconds. Let me skip this as well and swipe to go home, and as you could see, we are now in the Pixel Experience ROM on the Galaxy S20 FE. This is the app drawer and you have a few pre-installed Google apps. This is the QS tiles. Then if you go to the settings menu, from here you will get the same Pixel UI tweaks and tricks that you get on the stock Pixel Experience. You will not get quite a lot of features as compared to the CR Droid and Evolution X ROM, but that is quite expected. So at the very most, you could go to the wallpaper and style, and from here you may enable dark themes and themed icon as well. And as you could see, the changes have been implemented. Likewise, you may change the app grid size as well and incorporate more apps in the app drawer. Let's choose 5x5 and hit apply. So let me show you that. Let's place the app at the bottom row, and that is done. Just a minute. Let's go back to the customization of menu, and let me go back from here. You may choose the option from here as well, and if you now go to the basic color, you may choose it from here. So as you might be aware, the ROM follows the dynamic color engine. So whatever is the dominant color from the wallpaper, it will automatically pick up that color and apply across the UI and UX of the OS. As of now, the wallpaper is black in color, so it will give you the theme with regards to the black color. Then you may choose from these colors as well, or you may go to the basic color and choose a few colors from here. There are quite a few theming options to go after, and you may also enable or disable the dark theme, as you could see. And after applying or the dark theme and disabling the dark theme, it's recommended to do a system UI restart. You may do so from here, and that's just about it. It's just the basic UI and UX, a clean stock experience, which for many is exactly what they want. And let me show you, this is the Android 13 version of the Pixel Experience ROM, and this is the build number as well. So guys, on that note, I round off this video. If you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section, and thanks a lot for watching.